Okay, let's play Goal Revolution, the multiplayer football manager game which is powered by LAOS Network. It's available for Android and iOS, though here I'm playing a desktop build which will also be released soon. So the first thing you see when you fire up Goal Revolution and you create an account is you see this home screen. You can see some information about what's going on with your team and what's happened with the recent matches. Now, when you start the game, you'll take over a team that existed already that has been playing games. You'll see games, the last game that has been played, and you'll be slotted straight into a league with other teams, other users that are around about the same level as you. Now, what happens in Goal Revolution is that two matches are played every day, one at just after 11:30 in the morning and one at just after 9 o'clock at night. Your job as a manager is to set the formation of your team and the tactics of your team for that match. You can view the opponent team to see what tactics they have been using, and you can set the formation and choose your players. The other thing you can do is train your players to improve them, and as they improve and get better, they'll obviously score more goals, make more tackles, etc., pass better, run faster, and give you a better chance of winning. So we're going to dive into the game now. We're going to start looking at the general overview of what's available in the game, and then we'll start talking about how to set your formation and train your players and how to view the upcoming games. So the first thing we're going to do from the home page is we're going to click on the menu button up here, and we're going to go and look at our team. So here is our team of players. We have 18 players to start off with. Without you actually realizing, each of these 18 players is tokenized on the blockchain via LAOS Network. But you don't realize that. You don't know anything about that. You just see your team of players. Each of these players has a position, a favorite position. So here we have Kamil Saith. His favorite position is a goalkeeper. And you can see his abilities and his stats here on the left. If you need a sort of a quick look into what these abilities are, you can click on the I button down here, which takes you to the help. And it'll explain to you all the different icons and what they mean, so you get an idea of what's happening and how good each player is. If you need a super quick guide as to the quality of each player, you can look at their star rating. Their star rating is this column here, the second column on the right. And this star rating is basically an average of these, a simplified average of these stats here on the left. So this guy, Kamil Saith, has a fairly high shot-stopping stats. I'm going to keep him here in my lineup. The first 11 players are the ones that are in your formation of your team at the moment. Let's look at this other goalkeeper, Mauricio Contreras. His shot-stopping, 1462. That is not as good as Kamil Saith. So I'm going to keep Saith in for the time being. And you can do that with the rest of your players as well. You can see this D is for defense, C is for center, L is obviously for left, R is for right, and then M and F are for midfield and forward. So, for example, this guy here, Jonel Solowski, can play either in defense or in midfield, and he can play on the left or the center or the right of the park. So this is a very flexible player because you can put him pretty much anywhere in midfield or defense, and he will play pretty well. Now then, the other thing that's important to note with these players is they have a fitness or tiredness rating here on the right. So this bar here, which is currently yellow, means how tired they are. So if they've been playing lots of matches in a row, this tiredness bar will go down. As you can see, my subs are all in green at the moment. But the players that have played a match or two in the last couple of days, they're beginning to get more tired, so we should rotate them out. And we'll show you how to do that in a bit. Some other interesting stats to notice are, or interesting areas to look at, are the age of the player, which we'll talk about in a bit. This up or down arrow is showing whether the player is improving in training or decreasing in ability in training. We'll talk about that in a bit. And this lightning bolt here is the potential, the training potential of that player. And we'll talk about that when we get to training. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump in to look for our next match. Before we set our formation and stuff, we're going to go to League, and we're going to see that here I am. My team Swansea is number 2 in the league at the moment, in the Bronze League. we're going to jump into see the rounds to see my next match. So I can see the next match being played is against FC Dummy. So I can go back here. FC Dummy is third. I can see who they are, and I can see that FC Dummy is playing a fairly aggressive formation here, 3-5-2. Quite a lot of midfielders, maybe with a fast wing back here, Acevedo. I can see that player there, and I can see what they're doing. So they're playing 3-5-2. It's an interesting formation. They lost their last match. The players looking reasonably in good shape, like they're in green. So obviously this manager is paying attention and rotating their squad. All right. So that's my next match, being playing today in about an hour's time. What I'm going to do now is set my formation. So I'm going to go back to my team and click on formation. So here I am playing a 4-3-3. I like 4-3-3. I'm just going to rotate my team though, because some of my players are quite tired. See the tiredness bar has gone down. This means that these players will not be performing at their best, right? So I'm going to look and I'm going to swap Montes is their star rating. This number is their star rating. So Del Rosario is not a very good player, unfortunately. So what we're going to do is we're going to swap Montes for Del Rosario. And I'm also going to, this guy can play on the left or the right, the backer. I'm going to put him there. My left defender, Ballesteros, I'm going to put him there. Centre defender, not a very good central defender, but we do have to rotate our team. So I'm going to put him there. And I'm going to put my keeper in there as well, Contreras. Give these guys a rest. So rotation is very, very important because you want to keep your team nice and fit the whole time. The other thing you can do, if you can change your formation, if you wanted to, you could change it here. You could put 4-5-1, 3-4-3, whatever, 4-3-3. Notice that when you change formation, sometimes you might see this little arrow next to the player. That means this little exclamation mark, sorry. That means that this player is playing out of position. See, this is a forward playing in midfield. He's playing out of position, so he's not going to play so well there, right? So you need to, if you see this little exclamation mark, you'll know that you need to change the formation or change the position, change the player that's playing in that position, so that they're playing in a favored position. But with my 4-3-3, things are working quite well. Let's have a look at some of our forwards. You can, let's just maybe change this, and we're going to use a tactic here to encourage a player to push up field, right? So I think we're going to encourage Montes to push up field. So Montes is going to play in a more attacking way, maybe the backer as well. Why not? And have Duan as a central holding player in the middle. So there you go with our formation set. We're ready for our next match being played at about an hour. But before we start our next match, and we can see now our lineup has changed to represent the changes we have made. Before we start our next match, we're going to train our players. Now, this is really important. When training is a really key element of Goal Revolution. Every match you play gets you training points. Here they are, right? So I have 188 training points. And I must spend all these training points before the next match. Otherwise, I will lose them. Now, you can see a breakdown of how training points are earned. They're earned in every match, right? So you get 10 training points for playing, you get points for winning, you get points for keeping a clean sheet. Obviously, in the last game, I didn't get a clean sheet. You get points for goals that are scored. These are from different players. So if a forward scores a goal, you get 5 points. If a midfielder scores a goal, you get, forward scores a goal, you get 4 points. A midfielder, 5 points. You get points for assists, you get points taken away for yellow and red cards, and you get points taken away for goals the opponents have scored. Then there are some multipliers, and so on and so forth, and it comes out with the results. So I have now a total of 188 training points that I'm going to be able to spend, and I'm going to spend them in the training sector. So I'm going to go click on training up here. Now in training, I have 4 different things I can train. I have the goalkeepers, the defenders, and the midfielders, and the forwards, right? I'm swiping left to right to go to these different areas. These are trained in blocks. So you train the sort of the categories of your position, of your players, the position they play in blocks. But before we do that, we're going to train our special player. Our special player is the one that we're going to improve an extra amount this week, in this sector, if you like, this section of training, and we're going to choose one of our players to improve 10% better than the others. Now then, if you remember this potential stat that I mentioned earlier on, this lightning. So players with a higher potential are going to respond better for training, right? So I'm going to choose a player with a high potential, for example, this Josu Montes. Well, actually, I'm going to go to the lineup, and I'm going to look for a high potential player. There's Montes. Is there another one? Here's Montilla. Now then, Montilla will be a very good one to train because Montilla is only 16 years old, so he's quite young, but he has a very high training potential. So he has an opportunity to get trained very, very well over the course of the next few matches and seasons. So I'm going to choose Montilla. I'm going to scroll across to find him. There he is. And I'm going to choose this player. There you go. So I'm going to train him. So now, once I've selected this player, I can choose the stats that I want to train, and I can see as I improve them here in real time, his ability is going to go up. Now, I don't really want to improve his shoot because he's a defender, right? He's not going to take many shots. I want to improve his defense more than anything. I'm going to improve his defense, pump in some 24 points there, and I'm also going to pump in some points into pass. I'm going to keep him just a little bit on about 1,000 there as well. And you can see as he goes up to 1,000 and more points as well, the average, he goes up to level 9. I've got one more. I'm going to dump it into defense. I can't dump it. The maximum I can put per stat is 24. I'm going to put another one into pass. And I'm going to apply. Right, so now Montilla is training hard. I'm going to apply the same to the rest of my goalkeepers. I want to apply them to be shot stoppers and so on and so forth. And one-on-one as well I want to train. And I'm going to apply it to all. And I can do the same thing for all of my players and in the different areas and train them up to the level that I want them to play. All right, so you can see now that my team is here. We're playing our next match. We've seen the next match. What else can we do in Goal Revolution? We can go and have a look at my club. We can see the stats of my club. We can see also the ranking of my team as we've just started the universe of Goal Revolution. So the graph to show the team progression I've just started is not going to go very far. At the end of this league, I will get a team ranking depending on how well I've played. And this team ranking will determine in which league I go in the following league. So Goal Revolution doesn't follow a typical league structure where the top teams are promoted into the next league. Otherwise, you might start down here and you might take forever to get to the top. The way we do it is we do a matchmaking system. So depending on your team ranking and your overall player skills, you will be automatically match-made into a league with teams of similar abilities. So you're always having a fairly competitive game. You're not being placed with teams that are too powerful or too weak for you to play against. Now, we've seen our team here, and we've only got 18 players in our team. We can get more players in our team because we mentioned earlier on, each of these players is tokenized on the blockchain and can be traded, right? Now, without you knowing it, when you signed into Goal Revolution, an account was created for you, a private key was created for you, and you can see that by going to the Account tab. So in the Account tab here, I'm not going to click Show Key, but here I can copy the public address to the clipboard, and I can copy the private key to the clipboard here, and I can port those into my wallet, such as MetaMask or whatever it is. And I've actually done that earlier on. So I'm going to skip out here to my web browser, and I'm going to go to Goal Revolution, goalrev.com, the web page, and I'm going to go to the marketplace. I'm going to click on the marketplace, and I'm going to go straight to the marketplace here, which is powered by Sequence. And you can see here, these are all the players in the universe. There are some for sale. There are some available to buy. I'm going to connect my wallet very briefly. This is the wallet that I created earlier on. Very briefly, enter my super secret passwords, connect the wallet, and I can see this is 0xD274, and I can see 0x27D4. Here we are, D274. This is the account that I've already imported into my MetaMask. So these are the players that are for sale. If I want to see my players, I can go sell. Yeah, so here are my players. I can put an item for sale. So I'm going to go here with Vicente Duan. I'll need to have some poll to put this player for sale, but I can put it for sale for USDC. This is an asset tokenized on Polygon via LAOS Network, and I can see other players because I go back to here and look at available items. I can see that some of the players that are currently for sale. This Ebon Kellywood being sold for 25 USDC. Seems like an extortionate price, but I could go and buy that. And if I bought this, when I buy this player, automatically within a couple of minutes, the player will appear in my team here, and I can use that player directly in Goal Revolution. So Goal Revolution is connected to the blockchain, is connected to the LAOS network, and anything that happens in that marketplace will be reflected here in the game immediately. One final thing, when the time comes at 11:35, you can go up here and this bar will turn into a live countdown for the game. When the game is being played, you get to see a live reenactment of the game. You get to see the events of the game coming up in real time. And at halftime, you can make substitutions. If you feel you're losing, you feel you need an impetus, you can change the formation, you can make substitutions, change some tactics to try and get an advantage if you're losing at halftime. So do keep an eye out for playing the real-time games because you can affect the result at the halftime by making changes and substitutions. And finally, one more point. Down here in settings, you have a couple of things. If you log out here of your account, then you will lose this account forever. So be very, if you're going to log out, make sure you've backed up this information here, otherwise you'll lose things kind of forever. And you can do things like changing the music and the sound effects and so on and so forth. So that's it, the summary of Goal Revolution. I hope to see you in the leagues, and I hope to be competing with you. And let us know what you think by commenting in the LAOS Network Telegram or Discord channels, and talk tactics and trade ideas, and we'll see you there. Thanks very much.